Hi guys, this is Gabriele from Nannuoshan, where we share the pleasure of drinking and discovering genuine farm tea. We are still into the tea marathon, the 2 days tea marathon with Sigi to my left and Gabriel to his left. And well, today is Rougui. We have 6 Rouguis, so we cannot brew them one after the other. It would take forever. We are running out of time, and we have decided to go for tea taster mugs. What you see here, we have done already put 3 grams of Rougui in each one of these. We have brewed them twice, each time for 2 minutes. So what do you have here is the first and the second brew, 2 minutes each, with 3 grams of leaves. We don't know which tea is what, but what we know is that these 3 are medium price range, not cheap, none of them is cheap. There are certainly more affordable Rougui than those, medium price range. The next 3 will be high-end, all right? We have a number under each taster mug that will tell us later on what's the price of each of them. Our task is to see if we enjoy them and try to put them in the right order of price, from the cheapest to the most expensive. Up for the challenge? Gabriel's favorite tea is Rougui among others, I think.
Rougui, Bishiyan, yeah, those 2.
The favorite yancha.
Yeah.
Okay. Very good. So we just scoop it in. You start from whichever you want. You don't have to. And then we will see how it goes. Share your impression with the audience. And we go. This one is very pale. Actually, it's by far the lighter in color.
Should we also start with this one?
No, it doesn't matter. What are you expecting, Sigi, of a Rougui? What are the characteristics of a Rougui that you're going to search now?
I mean, the most common one, at least from what I've heard, is a spice note that is most frequently associated with cinnamon, or I think more specifically cassia. That being said, I don't know what kind of the range of roasting level is that's typical for Rougui and any of those kind of things. So other things I'm expecting are just like more generally in line with what one can get from yancha. A roasted oolong, nice aromatics, maybe some minerality, that kind of thing.
Producer tends to roast Rougui rather heavily, just to reflect the strong character of the cultivar.
One thing I did notice when opening those bags and weighing all of these teas is that the ones from one of the 2 producers we are tasting from all had quite a lot in common in their style and all felt pretty distinct from the other ones.
We have teas here from 60 from 2 sources.
Okay. Oh wait.
Certainly the first one, the lightest in color, is also the lightest in roasting as expected, and the one that has, in my opinion, not only cinnamon notes, but also some florality to it, in my opinion, this one here. It's maybe because the roasting is letting more through. Which one you?
I mean, I feel like I need to try all of them again, to be completely honest.
Oh yeah, no, for sure.
Yeah, I'm not sure. There certainly is a difference between all of them, but I need a bit more.
I do feel like I might have a preference for one already, but I just want to try all of them again to confirm.
Should have taken larger spoons, actually. It takes forever with this. That reminds me of a friend of mine when she was doing scooping. She would take a small cup, a spoon out of the tea, and she would pour only half spoon in the cup and taste it. Like, you know, just few drops, just really concentrate on just a little of it.
Okay, I think I have a preference between these three.
Yeah, let us know.
Which
Which one, why? No secrets.
I like this one the most. I feel between these three it strikes the best balance between the
Balance.
yes. Between the roasting, the kind of spice notes, and something a bit brighter, kind of floral sweetness, whatever you want to call it. This one, in my mind, feels a little bit too light in terms of mouthfeel as well. I think this one feels a bit thinner than the other two, whereas this one kind of moves a bit too much on the other side, where
The one in the center?
the one in the middle, yeah, that the one in the middle feels a bit too monotone in a way.
And Gabriel, what are your opinions so far?
So I'm not sure which one I like the most, but the one on the right is definitely, in my opinion, the weakest one. It's quite thin in texture, mouthfeel, and aftertaste, and it has a bit of a vegetal note that's in the direction of algae, which is always like a sign for a bit lower quality for me. So I definitely wouldn't buy the one on the right. So for those two, they are more similar. They have more similar roasting, much better roasting in my opinion. But I need to try them again.
Go ahead. Go ahead. We do a longer brew. Those leaves, just 3 grams, are already undergone 4 minutes of steeping. We do a longer one to see what we can get out of them. But then we will come to a conclusion here and move on to the high-end Rougui. In terms of price range, I can tell you that the cheapest tea we are tasting today and the most expensive one have about a factor 7 in between. Just, you know, I didn't calculate it, more or less. So meaning that the most expensive today is like 7 times the cheapest one. It's quite a wide price range, but it's not extreme because we don't have any affordable tea. For example, the organic Rougui that right now is sold out, that was for long on the shop, was way cheaper than any we are tasting today.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, despite the organic certification. And indeed, this one is just clear. You don't need to taste it many times. You know, it's easy to distinguish between the other two. I'll try another method.
That's
No.
audacious.
Oh shit! Well, I said I tried, but no success. And it is a bit more difficult. So this one was what, the first one, right? Okay, I won't do it again. Keep on scooping here.
I could get a bigger scoop.
Yeah, maybe for the next one. Is that the other one are massive? There's nothing in between.
Oh. So for me, this one has like the most characteristic fragrance. It has a very strong cinnamon fragrance, where the other ones are more like general rock tea taste, not very specific Rougui. Yeah, in mouthfeel they are quite similar. Aftertaste, it's hard to tell with this brewing method.
So I have to say that for me, first one is just, I like it, but it's not what you would expect from a Rougui. It's just light, it's aromatic, it doesn't have the strength, so all the components that you would expect are not there. This one is the opposite. It is the highest roasting maybe of the three. It is a tiny bit, not too much, but a little bit harsh, a little bit aggressive. It has a bite. This is now something you would expect from a Rougui, that is biting. And this is the more balanced, maybe what you said as well.
Yeah.
The more balanced of the three. It has all those components. Now, without further ado, I would say let's find out. Right, what is the most expensive, what is the cheapest?
We still have the steep going, so...
Yeah, that's true. What do we do with that? We can empty those. Can you get a bowl or something?
Yeah.
And then we have the final brew and see. But so far, I think everyone would agree this one, we consider it the cheapest.
Yeah.
Right? Then, so 1, 2, 3 actually. Or not for everyone.
Yeah, I'm not sure about these two. Like either one.
Yeah,
would
it's
be
very
more
difficult. It's
expensive.
very difficult. I would agree. Yeah, okay, let's find out. Let's find out. Let's do like this. We empty those. If you want, you can pour out that one. We have already more than 5 minutes of brew, so you can pour out this one. I see it already.
Same.
Okay. That's interesting actually.
Oh, you already saw which one is which?
Yeah, now we see that because yeah, it's written on the back.
Okay.
So what we have here is the following. We have the cheapest of the three is the one in the middle. Then comes this and then comes that. So this one that we mentioned it is the more balanced, it has all components. Gabriel mentioned as the characteristic Rougui taste that this one doesn't have, right? Is the one fetching a higher price, would be about 42 euros for 50 grams. So at the end of the medium range, let's put it this way, 42. Then we have this one here, would be, I've written it here, 27 euros, right? So I would say it's not a bad job for 27 euros. They just probably pushed too much the roasting to make up maybe for some other lacks. That's why we found it a little bit harsh. And this one here is the medium ground. Maybe it would have been a good tea if they would have done a proper roasting.
Maybe.
It's just light. It's just light.
Yeah, it's not only light. I feel like the base material was maybe not as strong as these two. Like in general, or in all aspects, is a bit.
Let's see if we know anything more than that. The only thing we know is that the third one, so the better one, is from Bishiyan. So it is from a yang, so it is from a cliff, while the other are simply called Rougui. And we don't have any other indication on that. So say that, we keep that in mind, and then we will see what we think about that. Let's have another sip.
That number 3 was actually my favorite one when I like opened and weighed the tea and smelled it.
The number,
So that's nice. Number
this,
3.
this one.
Yes.
Ah, okay, the one that you like the most. Okay, in the aroma of the dry leaves. All right. Yeah. So what we will do now, we will get ready with the next 3.
Yep.
The high-end one, same procedure, and as soon as we are ready with the brew, we will get back to you. All right, let's do it. How the brew looks, way more consistent in terms of color. This is a little bit lighter, but not much. Probably depends where you're standing.
Yeah, much closer to each other.
Much
And
closer, yeah.
I'd say also darker overall, like
Yeah.
darker than the first 2 we've had as well. A little bit.
let's get started. Now with this larger spoon, it is way easier. I will take my time.
Already a lot better than the ones before.
Yeah, this first one is already quite nice.
I either speak or concentrate, so. Oh, that's different.
Okay.
It's different, huh?
Smells a bit different too.
Oh, okay. The roasting is very different. Strong, but very good.
Yeah. Completely different from the one on the left.
So strong, the roasting in the center one, that I even had some smoke impression in my mouth, yeah?
Yeah.
And there is a lot of smoke in a roasting room for yancha, so makes sense.
Yeah, like the kind of smoky impression almost goes up your nose in a way.
But the aftertaste is quite remarkable.
It's definitely good tea.
Yeah, you can tell we are in a different class here. It's kind of difficult even to find really effects in a way. It's just they're good.
Just from smell, this one was already my favorite before we started. From
yeah?
these three, so.
Well, you don't know, it's what them?
No, I recognized the smell from before.
Okay.
Like I think this one has a unique.
What is this one? Which one?
This one,
Which of the three?
the one on the right.
The one on the right, okay.
Okay, so they're all much better than the best from before. But they're all more distinct. So
Yeah, they are a bit harder to to compare, because, and maybe that's also a sign of quality. They're all more unique in a good way. Like they all have both the things they need and then other things that make them stand out.
This is kind of really high fire Rougui.
I feel like I've made my choice.
a bit like smoked whiskey, but only very slightly.
So, I mean, let's try in a nutshell to give our favorite. I would say nothing here is right or wrong, right? Also the price difference, and when I speak about price range, I always refer to the wholesale price. Actually, also when I say before 7 times, I refer to the wholesale price. Here we are much closer, like the most expensive of the three is just 50% more expensive than the cheapest.
Okay. Makes sense that they
so are a little bit
closer.
closer, tiny bit, closer to each other. Yeah. And so my view is this one is the most aromatic of the three. Is where I get more the fragrance of the leaves. Not necessarily cinnamon, I have to say, but more the fragrance. This is the more neutral of all of them. Sigi would say the most balanced. And this one has a very strong roasting that is convincing though. It's like, it doesn't pass unnoticed, but it's not disturbing.
Yeah.
It's really heavy.
It doesn't throw off the tea's balance.
Yeah. So for me, personally, I like those because they have more character. Sometimes balanced tea is good, but sometimes can be also a little bit boring. That's why I like the aroma that comes through this one, and I like the roasting of the center one. That's just my 2 cents.
For me, this one on the right immediately stood out.
The balance one?
Because, no, I think this one has, while this one is more kind of aromatic in terms of the types of fragrances it has, I think in terms of aromatic intensity, this one is the highest. Because I could smell this one when it was still dry in the bag, I could smell this one when it was in here, and even we put the lid on, I could smell it while it was brewing, etc. So the amount of aroma that is present in this one, I think, stands at a level that is above these two. And for that reason, I liked it the most, or it spoke the most to me. But I will agree with you that these two are also both very solid and very interesting.
Gabriel.
So I would say this one is the most classical style of Rougui. It is quite round. It has this Rougui typical. I don't know how to put it. It would be what I would think about first when I heard Rougui. But overall, I prefer the one on the right because the roasting is better in my opinion. The overall impression is a bit better. The mouthfeel, aftertaste. And the one in the middle has certainly the most character. The roasting is very good, like it was said, very balanced, and it doesn't like it's not over roasted or too strong. But like I wouldn't buy this one.
The center one, you mean?
Yeah, it doesn't stand out as being a very good representation of a high-end or of a Rougui, more of a very special yancha.
Now that they're cooling down, it's also interesting to compare the aroma. And when they were hot, the very first one had a higher aroma profile than the other two. Now that they're cooling down, it's more decay. These two has a similar aroma intensity, I would say. To me, I mean, both Gabriel and Sigi prefer this one. To me, I don't know, honestly. I like all three, and I like in the center one the power that it has, in a way. If I compare this one with the highest roasting we had previously, there is no compare. They're both strong. Also, the one in the center before had a strong roasting, I think.
Yeah.
But there is no compare. So maybe I would tend later, if I have to choose one for me, let's say to go for the center one. Yeah. Now let's find out about the price, and then we will reveal also from which clip they come from, because they are all from Xiangbiyan. So it's certainly also an interesting aspect. Are you ready?
Yes.
All right. So I read them first, and then I give them you in the right order.
Okay.
And guess what? They are in the right order. So we have this one here is the cheapest and would fetch only 60 euros per 50 gram. 60. 64. Very similar.
Oh.
60, 64, 81.
Oh.
Okay, so you see both Sigi and Gabriel like particularly this one. Sigi mentioned all from the very beginning, from the smell of the leaves and so on. And so yeah, you got really the most expensive one. Another question is really expensive. It's 81 euros per 50 grams, right? So is that worth the price? Is, by the way, a Matouyan Rougui. Yeah. Here we have it, a Matouyan Rougui is the first one. The one in the center is the Baiyunsi, which is a white cloud temple. The one in the center. And the one opposite to me is Xiangbiyan, another Yan, Xiang with a G at the end, Yan, and it is here. These and these come from the same producer, and this is another one.
I think
Well,
that makes sense.
it makes sense, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, makes sense.
It's a tough question though. We've tried so much yancha over the past couple of days, and I feel like we've already picked a few that were quite expensive that stood out in perhaps more obvious ways, if that makes sense.
Yeah. You know what I think we should, what we were saying before offline. For the first three that we tasted, we will make a Gonfucha comparison of the camera between the cheapest and the most expensive. Because we had a substantial price difference, 27 to 42 euros for 50 grams. And we're really to find out if that price difference is worth it, right? First aspect, I would say. For the second aspect here, we have, this is clearly different than the other two, right?
Yeah.
There is, but the other two are also different in price, 60, 81. Now they're both very expensive, but makes a difference. So I would suggest we do also Gonfucha comparison between those two, and we see what we get out of it. Yeah.
Seems good.
Yeah. Your impression about the last tip?
Yeah, it's very different. Like if I buy a Rougui and I get like this, like I didn't expect it, and maybe I would be a bit mad because I expect something very different. But on its own, if it's like not sold or if it's sold like very strong roasting, then it would probably be like exactly what I would expect. Yeah.
Yeah, if you call it the high roast Rougui, maybe
Yeah,
you would have a point. Yeah. All right, let's find out. And yeah, I hope you guys have enjoyed the process. As you see, it's no easy. It's not. It's not an easy task. And I would certainly like to have at least 2 Rouguis online, maybe 3. The first one, I would like to get again the organic Rougui. The sample is on its way. Hopefully we will get it and we'll get the chance to taste. And then maybe either we pick up 1 out of these 6 or we pick 2. We have to see.
Seems good.
All right. Thank you guys for watching and bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.